Hey everybody, Cinephile Mike is here, and it is day 88 of Award Season Review, Season 3. 97 reviews coming at you in 97 days, covering many of the films contending for awards recognition this season. Now, some of the films I'm talking about may be awaiting a re-release, its initial release, it's still in theaters. So all the information I provide to you is current within 7 days of posting. This is critical response, box office information, nominations, predictions, wins, and of course, these reviews are spoiler-free. Also, make sure you check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for lots of great additional awards season content. So, today we are halfway through our 13th theme week, and it is a shorter one where I'm looking at the shorts. So, today we are looking at the first of 3 days where we look at the nominated shorts, and today we're starting with the documentaries. Now, traditionally, these don't have individual or solo releases, and critical responses are usually not made public. So, I'm going to be bypassing those, but I am going to be getting into the how you can watch them in the ratings. Now, all five of these documentaries are currently being shown together in a showcase at theaters across the country up until March 2nd, so you can check your local listings for that. And some of them may have additional viewing options at home, and if the respective film does, I will tell you that. So, let's get into these films alphabetically. First up, Kim A. Snyder's Death by Numbers. Now, in addition to the nod, the film was also nominated at the Woodstock Film Festival for Best Documentary Short and won the Documentary Shorts competition at the Montclair Film Festival. The film, written by Sam Fuentes, puts its writer at its center. Sam is one of the survivors of the tragic Parkland school shooting, where Nicholas Cruz killed 14 of his fellow students and 3 adults and injuring many more, including Sam, who took a bullet to the leg and had other beatings and injuries as a result of the attack. Knowing that she is generally only referred to as case number 26 in all of this, she provides background information about the day through journals that she kept, as well as providing talking head interviews about the experience. While the trial is going on, and it is only a trial to determine if Cruz will be sentenced to death or life imprisonment without parole, we hear other victim testimonies, teachers speaking out, and Sam provides a glimpse into her life as we build towards the dramatic conclusion of what will happen. Fuentes constructs a really powerful script to tell her story, and Snyder works well with all of the subjects that she is capturing on film. While we do get a little bit of insight into Cruz and who he was and what caused this, our focus is on Sam and the life of the survivors. Traditionally, when we see documentaries like this, we mainly focus on the person that's on trial and hear from some other concerned parties. But here, we're focusing primarily on the person who's telling the story about surviving this attack. And there's the incorporation of archival footage, which truly adds a very powerful layer. This, again, very, very strong 5-star documentary. As of this recording, the only way to see this one is part of the Doc Shorts program. Okay, next up, still a little heavy. Smriti Mundra's I Am Ready, Warden. Now, in addition to the nod, the film was also nominated for Best Short Documentary at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards and Outstanding Achievement in Nonfiction Short Filmmaking at the Cinema Eye Honors Awards. It also won Best Documentary Short at the Bend Film Festival. This is the second of 3 doc shorts this year that look at murder, this one giving us an insight into the days leading up to the execution of John Henry Ramirez, who was convicted of a murder he committed in 2004, where he stabbed 46-year-old convenience store employee Pablo Castro to death in Corpus Christi, Texas. At the time, Ramirez was a 19-year-old former Marine who had, well, I'm not going to say more about the previous, I'll leave that in the spoiler. A victim of a tragic childhood that Ramirez does speak about. Mundhra spends much time speaking to Ramirez through the plate glass window at the prison where he is awaiting the final decision. And also spends time with Aaron Castro, Pablo's son, who was instrumental in Ramirez's capture, as we learn that he was one who called the situation into a famed television show after he learned that Ramirez had fled to Mexico from Texas after murdering his father. We learn that Ramirez has had 3 stays to execution and is hoping for one more. As we hear from both Ramirez and Castro, we are also privy to other individuals in Ramirez's life, including his adopted godmother, Jan Trujillo, who he met through church services. We also meet Israel Ramirez's son, who he fathered while living in Mexico, and we get a lot of stories to see as we build towards a dramatic conclusion. An emotional four-star film filled with archival and spy footage as well as talking head interviews. We get a glimpse into these days leading up to what could be the end of Ramirez's life. Now, for this one, in addition to the showcase, the short is also streaming on Paramount Plus. Okay, we're not out of the heavy yet, as we have Bill Morrison's Incident. Now, in addition to the Oscar nod, the film was nominated for and won several awards across various film festivals, including 2 nominations for Best True Crime Documentary and Best Short Documentary at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, and winning Best Short Documentary from the International Documentary Association. Now, the interesting thing about this documentary is that we have no footage that was shot for this documentary, but instead a 30-minute edit of silent surveillance camera footage from a traffic camera near the train tracks on a Chicago street corner, and the body cams of varied police officers, including those arriving on scene after the aforementioned titled incident. And it's uncomfortable. We actually see the incident, which is a police shooting on July 14th, 2018, that results in the death of Chicago resident Harith Snoop Augustus, 37-year-old barber. Now, at the time of this shooting, racial tensions were high in Chicago due to the upcoming trial of police officer Jason Van Dyke, who had killed another man in 2014. We see the events that lead up to the shooting, the actual shooting, and the aftermath. And in a powerful blend, we see how the cops react. And when we learn what causes everything to happen, the effects are very impactful. And we really begin to see um, some of the reasons why there has been so much outcry against police forces. Now, while the documentary at times does go on a little long and a little repetitive, it nevertheless paints a disturbing image of racial profiling that is still all too prominent in many cities across the United States. Also, Morrison smartly presents some of the information in a non-linear storytelling moment, in non-linear storytelling, which leads to some definite shock value when certain events come out. Another 4-star documentary. Currently, this one is only available to be seen as part of the short showcase. It is not streaming online anywhere as of now. Okay, we're going to go a little lighter, with the other two being musically themed documentaries. And first up is Emma Ryan Yamazaki's Instruments of a Beating Heart. Now, in addition to the nod, the film was nominated for Best Documentary Short in competition at the St. Louis International Film Festival and was named Best Short Documentary by the International Documentary Association. Instruments of a Beating Heart takes us to Tsukado Elementary School in Tokyo, Japan, where the music teacher is auditioning the outgoing first graders to perform in a concert where these students will perform Beethoven's Ode to Joy to the incoming first graders. Now, our principal student, the one who's in the poster that really wants to be a part of this, is Ayame. Now, she dreams of playing the big drum in this performance. Now, mini spoiler, while she doesn't get the big drum, she does get a significant part in the performance. You can kind of see it in the poster. But with this responsibility comes certain challenges that Ayame may not have been fully prepared for. And we will follow her through her very emotional journey over the next few weeks as we see the students getting ready for the concert. And we will see if Ayame is able to remain with the orchestra for the actual show. Because sometimes we see that, well, there's challenges. Now, while this sounds very heavy, it's not. This film is actually a really nice lesson to teach about the the importance of perseverance. Now, with this one, Yamazaki chooses to completely separate herself from the subjects, themselves from the subjects. The film is made up entirely of spy footage. We never get to talk to Ayame or any of the other students or any of the teachers or anyone involved. And so while this means that nothing is, staged or just presented for the documentary, I feel at times this one actually does it a little bit of a disservice because it might have been nice to hear from the people involved, especially the students, maybe even if it were like an aftermath reflective conversation. But I don't want to take away from the enjoyment of it. It's an enjoyable 4-star documentary, which, in addition to the short showcase, is streaming on YouTube on the New York Times' official channel. Okay. And finally, we have our other music documentary short, Molly O'Brien's The Only Girl in the Orchestra. This is a love letter to the great double bass player Orrin O'Brien, the daughter of famed actors George O'Brien and Marguerite Churchill. O'Brien pays homage to her aunt, the woman who she states she aspired to be, a strong, independent woman in New York City in the arts who did what they loved. Now, O'Brien made history in 1966 when she was handpicked by Leonard Bernstein to become the first full time female member of the New York Philharmonic. She was one of a 104 member orchestra and had to show what she could do, and has turned this into an almost 60-year career. Now, in addition, Orrin became a music teacher, teaching at various institutes, including the Manhattan School of Music, and also teaching private lessons in her classic New York City apartment that, as she points out at one point, is literally crumbling around here because she remembers her childhood, of the actor parents and always changing things that she was looking for a constant. And at this point in the documentary, as we reflect on this incredible life and career that Oren has had, we see her ready to prepare herself for retirement so that she has time to see the concerts she never got to go to, having time to move into a new home, have a new beginning, spend time with her niece Molly, who, as she says, is her last living relative. And as we're treated to all of this information, which is done with a lot of archival footage and photographs, we also get a lot of nice talking head interviews with many of Oren's former students who are now themselves either teachers or members of the Philharmonic. And then other times we just get a lot of great spy footage of her chatting with Molly or of different events in her life. We get a really nice look and intimate portrait of this trailblazing yet under the radar musician. This celebratory four-star documentary short, in addition to the showcase, you can also find The Only Girl in the Orchestra streaming on Netflix. All right, so there we have it. Again, I don't do an overall rating for the whole set, as each film has their own ratings, and you now know how to see each one. So I will just end it by saying that we are now 88 reviews down, with only, 9 left to go. So we're really moving through. Tomorrow we are going to look at the Oscar nominated live action shorts, which are definitely an interesting collection of 5 films. And then we'll wrap with the animated shorts before we get into the last set of films that are all Oscar nominated. We are so close. As always, if you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. And again, find lots of great additional content on my website, cinephilemike.com. Spreadsheets on how to watch all of these films, see what's been nominated, see what's winning. You can find my short videos on my predictions of who I think is going to take each award, and lots of other fun stuff. All right. Until tomorrow, everyone, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.